On a small island in the middle of the Mediterranean, there is something that seems almost impossible to explain. Thousands of people reach 90, even 100 years of age, and they do so while still walking their own streets, remembering the names of their children, their neighbors, and the stories of their lives. It's not a magical island. It's Sardinia. And not far from there, in Greece, there is another one, Ikaria, the island where, according to its own residents, people forget to die. Scientists gave these places a name, blue zones. Regions where old age doesn't automatically mean decline, where the brain seems to resist the passage of time in a way that most of the Western world has simply been unable to replicate. And here's the question that fascinated researchers for decades. What do these people know that the rest of the world has overlooked? The answer began to emerge when scientists noticed a curious pattern. It wasn't genetics, because migrants from these regions often lost much of their advantage within just a few years after moving to the United States and adopting a typical American diet. It wasn't the climate. It wasn't isolation. And it wasn't luck. It was food. More specifically, it was a golden liquid that appeared at nearly every meal, generously poured over vegetables, fish, bread, and legumes, extra virgin olive oil. For decades, olive oil was treated as just another dietary fat. But researchers gradually realized that it behaves very differently inside the human body. And the place where that difference became most surprising wasn't the heart. It was the brain. To understand why this matters, you first need to understand what happens inside a brain that is aging poorly. As the years pass, brain cells accumulate oxidative damage, tiny injuries caused by unstable molecules known as free radicals. At the same time, a protein called beta amyloid begins to accumulate between neurons, forming plaques. When the body can no longer clear these plaques efficiently, they become toxic. They trigger chronic inflammation in brain tissue. And over time, that inflammation destroys the connections responsible for memory. This is the biological pathway that leads to cognitive decline and, in many cases, Alzheimer's disease. And this is exactly where extra virgin olive oil steps into the story, not as a supporting character, but as one of the main characters. Inside extra virgin olive oil are compounds known as polyphenol. One of them, in particular, captured the attention of researchers, oleocanthal. This compound is responsible for the peppery, slightly irritating sensation in the back of the throat when you taste a high-quality extra virgin olive oil. Studies have shown that its chemical structure shares similarities with ibuprofen, giving it natural anti-inflammatory properties. But what makes oleocanthal truly fascinating isn't the anti-inflammatory effect itself. It's what it appears to do to beta amyloid. Research conducted in animal models of Alzheimer's disease revealed something remarkable. Oleocanthal appears to increase the activity of two transport proteins known as P-glycoprotein and LRP1. These proteins function as part of the brain's waste removal system within the protective barrier surrounding the brain. Their job is to help remove excess beta amyloid before it accumulates and becomes toxic. In other words, a compound found in the olive oil you drizzle on your salad may directly influence one of the central biological mechanisms involved in Alzheimer's disease. That alone would be an important discovery. But every serious scientist asks the same question. Does this actually happen in real people, outside the laboratory, over the course of real lives? That's exactly the question researchers at Harvard sought to answer in one of the most comprehensive studies ever conducted on the subject. Published in JAMA Network Open in 2024, the study followed more than 92,000 adults in the United States over a period of 28 years. Throughout that time, participants repeatedly reported their dietary habits, and researchers compared those records with mortality data related to dementia. The results surprised even the authors. People who consumed more than 7 grams of olive oil per day, the equivalent of just over half a tablespoon, had a 28% lower risk of dying from dementia-related diseases such as Alzheimer's compared to those who rarely or never consumed olive oil. And here's the part that truly captured scientists' attention. This benefit remained even after accounting for the overall quality of a person's diet. Whether the rest of their eating habits were excellent or merely average, olive oil appeared to carry its own independent protective effect. There was another revealing finding. When researchers compared people who replaced margarine and mayonnaise with olive oil, they observed an 8 to 14% reduction in the risk of dementia-related death. This suggests that part of the story isn't only about what olive oil adds to the body. It's also about what it replaces. By removing hydrogenated fats from the equation, fats that have been strongly associated with cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, and cognitive decline, olive oil may help shift the biological environment in a healthier direction. But it would be simplistic, and scientifically inaccurate, to claim that olive oil alone explains the remarkable cognitive longevity observed in the blue zones. Because there is another layer to this story that many documentaries rarely discuss. In the villages of Sardinia and Ikaria, meals are rarely eaten alone. Neighbors gather together. Multiple generations of families share the same table. People walk almost everywhere, not as structured exercise, but simply as part of everyday life. There is purpose. Many older adults continue tending gardens, caring for animals, and actively contributing to their communities well into their later years. Social isolation and physical inactivity, by themselves, are among the strongest risk factors for cognitive decline. In some cases, they are as powerful as poor nutrition. So olive oil does not work in isolation. It is part of an entire lifestyle system that protects the brain from multiple directions at the same time. And paradoxically, that makes the scientific findings even stronger. Because even within this broader lifestyle pattern, researchers can still identify a specific effect associated with a single food. So what does all of this mean for someone listening right now and thinking about their own memory, their own independence, and their own quality of life over the next 20 or 30 years? It means that how olive oil is used matters. Raw extra virgin olive oil drizzled over vegetables, salads, fish, and legumes preserves the highest concentration of polyphenol because excessive heat can degrade these delicate compounds. It means that replacing margarine, industrial mayonnaise, and highly processed oils with extra virgin olive oil isn't simply a matter of taste. It appears to influence biological pathways linked to brain inflammation and the buildup of toxic proteins associated with Alzheimer's disease. And perhaps most importantly, it suggests that the Mediterranean diet was never really about strict rules or dietary restrictions. Instead, it may be a way of eating that protected the most valuable and fragile organ in the human body long before anyone fully understood why. And perhaps that's why, when we return to that Mediterranean village and watch a 93-year-old man calmly walking to the local bakery, recognizing every face he passes along the way, the feeling isn't merely admiration. It's revelation. Because the real secret may never have been about living longer. It may have been about reaching 90 years old while still walking your own streets. Still remembering your own name. Still recognizing your children. Still fully present in your own life. And for millions of people across the Mediterranean, for generations, a simple bottle of extra virgin olive oil has quietly been part of that story all along. See you the next video.